Hi, welcome to Talk Back Live, a show that gets you involved in live conversation and sports with Brian Camp on Sports Update, bringing you the latest developments in today's world of sports. And now here's your host, Frank Allan.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant night to each and every one of you in your different time zones around the world and across the country. Here we are once again. It's another Thursday. It's 8 p.m. on the East Coast, 5 p.m. on the West Coast. It's Friday morning at 1 a.m. in London, 3 a.m. in Israel, and it's 10 a.m. in Tokyo, Japan. They're having breakfast and they're all set and ready to go and ready to get out the door to go to work. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Talk Back Live. This is where we meet each Thursday at this time. We get together, you, me, and the rest of the world, and we indulge in conversation and have a lot of fun. And we talk about topics of the day, topics of anything that you want to talk about in particular, too. And of course, we're so glad to have you aboard with us. And for those of you who have been around with us for a long time, you already know the score. You know that this is how we do it. But we want to explain to what's happening with the people who might be a little new to this program. Of course, as I said, we come here each Thursday at this time. Look at your clock because you may be in a different time zone. So therefore, you're going to have to act accordingly. And whatever your clock says, that's what time we come on in your area each week. Now, we get you involved in conversation. How we do that, you're watching us right now on your computer or anything that has a keyboard. Well, use your keyboard, walk right through it, type in whatever you want to talk about. I will see you right there on the big screen. Of course, I will entertain all of your thoughts and ideas because that's what the show is all about. Free exchange of ideas and of opinions. And of course, I think that you have a lot of them and we want to share them all together. And so that being said, you know, if you have anything in particular that you want to talk about as I throw out the conversation, of course, I have to do that as the host of the show. You may want to talk about something else. And if it's an interest to all of us and everyone here, of course, we'll entertain all of that. And don't forget, while you're here, you can talk to each and every one of us. People who come in, you can talk to them, you can talk to me, and we talk to each other. And that's what it's all about. That's a good thing, right? We can talk to each other. It's not just me, but everybody that's involved in the show, or whoever comes in. We thank you so much for being along. You ought to know that we come on 3 different platforms. That's what we have, 3 different platforms right now. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And any one of those 3, you can catch us and, of course, indulge in conversation as well. Okay, there you have it. And so tell your family and friends about it, and particularly if you're on Facebook and you're new to the show, and even if you're not new to the show, you know Facebook, and you already know how to tag your friends. You can tag this show right now to your friends. They will see that tag coming from you. All they have to do is click onto that tag, and it brings them directly to us right here, and they can talk to us and talk to you. They'll see you, they'll see me, and they'll see everybody here. Okay, and that's how it works. And for those of you who are watching us on YouTube, keep in mind that I always encourage you to go onto our YouTube channel. You're already there right now. Subscribe to it. Now, if you've been with us for a long time and you haven't subscribed just yet, well, maybe you ought to do that. Do it right now. I mean, if you've been here long enough. For the new people, of course, they don't know any better, so we tell them that they can do that. But for you guys who've been with us for a long time, you ought to know better. You should have done it a long time ago. Anyway, that's all you have to do. Subscribe to us. Now, the reason why we want you to subscribe to us is because we want to see how many people are actually following us and what it means to us. It's that you follow us and give us your undivided attention each week. So we like for you to follow us and make us your own as well. And the other reason is that each time that we go on the air and you happen to be out there watching and you forget about the show, it gives you an instant reminder. It'll pop right up there, and all you have to do is click onto that, and it brings you right to the page. Just as simple as that, so you don't have to miss the show. So keep telling your friends about it. And for those of you who are watching us on Instagram, you don't have to do anything special. The only thing that you have to do is just keep spreading the word to all your family, friends, and your relatives. Let them know that we're on the air live and that they could be involved in the show just as well. So there you have it. All of those items are out there for you. And if you have any more questions about it as we go along the show, please feel free to ask, and we'll answer all the questions one by one. So there you have it. Now, all of you know that in conjunction with interacting with each other. Of course, we do our own thing right here. And later on in the program, we're going to call on Brian Kemp, coming out of directly from Charlotte, North Carolina. We're going to link up with him. You're going to see him right on the screen right there. He has the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. And a lot of sports are happening. So he's going to be talking about that. Super Bowl is right around the corner, just before you know it. As a matter of fact, Super Bowl is on the 9th? Is it the 9th? We got to check with Brian. I think it's the 9th of February. I think it's something like that. Anyway, we're going to be looking forward to all of that. At the 9th of February, that's this Sunday. Oh, okay. So there you go. So Brian is going to be talking about that. He'll confirm that anyway. That's all coming up anyway. And we look forward to seeing him on Super Bowl. And of course, tonight here on Talkback Live. Now, if you have any questions for Brian, sports related, feel free. He'll have the answers for you. We'll just, he'll see you right there as well. And he'll have all the answers for you. At least he'll try to answer as best he can. And so that's all coming up too. So there you have it. It's all there. Now, those of you who are watching us on Instagram, you won't be able to get a chance to see him. You won't be able to see him just like the people on Facebook and YouTube, because we're not designed that way. And but you'll get a chance to hear him. You'll hear everything he's saying, and you can still ask the same question. So that doesn't change either. But for the rest of you guys who are watching us, Facebook, YouTube, you can see him. He'll be right there on the screen with us, and we'll talk there. And that's all taking place. So thank you so much for being along for this Thursday. Remember, all of the views and the opinions expressed on this show, Talkback Live, does not necessarily reflect the view or the opinions of the people of Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Zoom, or any other social media outlet or broadcast facility. So again, thank you so much for being along with us. You want to take notice, and I'm pretty sure you noticed that we weren't here last week. If you were looking for us and you were wondering where we were, well, we were off last week, both Thursday and Friday on the coffee hour. What happened? I had a eye surgery that I had to be performed, and so that prevented me from doing the show last week. But I'm doing better now. I'm feeling fine. The eye surgery was successful, and we're waiting around to. When I finish all of my eye drops, I'm not finished. That's a long process too, the eye drops, When I'm finished with all of that and going to see the doctor again, which won't be until the 27th of this month, we'll then make arrangements on what we're going to do with the other eye, because we have to have the other eye. You can't do one without the other, right? I mean, you can, but, the same function that I had in one eye happens to have be in the other eye as well. So we're going to be taking care of that as well. And then somewhere along the line, when that happens, we'll probably cancel a couple of more shows, just like we did last week. But in the meantime, we're here, and we're going to continue to stay here, and we're going to be here for the whole full hour. So thank you so much for being along with us. And when we were here last week, I think that was the end of January, but here we are. It was the beginning of a new month, I think, right? But here we are, a brand new month. Here we are. It's February, and it's the 6th of February, and we're just getting started, baby. We are just getting started. And of course, on the month of February, we're celebrating a lot of things. Of course, we want to keep a lot of things in mind on what we're doing in the month of February. And February also marks the February 1st it started, but here we are. This is the first day that we acknowledge it. It's the 6th of February. It's Black History Month. All month long, all month of February is Black History Month. And we're going to be talking about Black History Month all month long, celebrating and acknowledging the pioneers of African Americans from the past up until the present. And we'll be talking about a lot of those things. A lot of you guys can find out a lot of things. There are a lot of Black related or African American related programs that are on the air, and you can watch those. They have all kinds of history things that you can check out. Also, you can Google a lot of things on your own that you can check out in terms of Black History Month, and you can check that out. Now, each week, as we talk about Black History Month, we're going to pull out a pioneer each week to talk about, and we're going to feature one each week. And this week, we're going to feature a man by the name of Granville Woods. In 1901, Granville Woods, a prominent African-American inventor, was granted a U.S. patent 6870098 covering various proportions or proposed investment in improvements on the third rail system. Now, this has been excited, and of course, it cited him to be claimed the inventor of the third rail system current distribution. So anytime you ride the subway and you think about that, because this is the man who created that, the third rail, back in 1901, Granville Woods, who is our featured African American of Black History Month this week. So we keep that in mind too. Keep that every time you ride the subway. Remember a long time ago, the railways were smoked. They had the smokestack trains. Well, that's all replaced, and it's because of this man right here, Granville Woods, who came up with the idea of the third rail, and so we don't have to breathe a lot of smoke, and everything is run on electricity now. So that's what we're celebrating right now, Black History Month. And if anything that you want to talk about Black History Month, if you have someone that you want to talk about, we'll talk about it here on the show too. We'll talk all about it. Also this month, we have National Cancer Prevention Month. That's what we're acknowledging all month long, because this is the month. You don't have to have a month to set aside to do it, but this is a month that's set aside that we talk about it. But cancer is something that people talk about each and every day. People survive it, some people don't, but cancer today is survivable. Whatever it is, it's survivable. I mean, it's not like it was. It's no longer really a death sentence. It could be dealt with. It's no cure for it. That each and every day they look for a cure, but right now there's no cure for it. But it's improved. It's getting better and better, and people are living longer and longer, and people are dealing with it. And I'm a witness to that. I know that for a fact. And I know that because, I said this many times before, I'm a prostate cancer survivor. And so I know that firsthand. And so things get better. And during the time when I was diagnosed, things were a little less slower. Let's say, for instance, I chose to go on surgery, and my surgery took 8 hours. Today, it doesn't take that long. Takes half the time now, maybe even more less than that, But anyway, it's getting better, and that's the thing that we're acknowledging right now. So keep that in mind. That's what we're acknowledging right now. It's all about taking care of yourself, your loved ones. If you have loved ones who were diagnosed with cancer and survived it, God bless them. Hug them and squeeze them tight each day and let them know that you're always thinking about them, when they're alive, So we'll keep that in mind. Keep that in mind each month. Each month you could keep it in mind. But this is the month that's set aside for it, for National Cancer Prevention Month. And so if you want to know any more about it, all you have to do is Google it or check with your doctor if you have any questions about it. And as a survivor of prostate cancer, if you have questions about that, I'm an expert. I can tell you all about it. And I'm not an expert as far as being a doctor and tell you how to deal with it, but I can tell you how you can live with it. I know that for a fact. I can tell you how you can live with it. And for me, I'm going on 24 years of survival. So that's saying plenty. And what got me through it is people who had it before me, and I talked to them. And also I had a chance to go to some of these group programs, these group meetings, and that helped a lot, more than you know. So any questions that you have about that, you can consult with your doctor. And if by any chance you were diagnosed with some kind of cancer, please, talk to your doctor immediately, and they'll give you the tools and things that you need to overcome it. So there you have this National Cancer Prevention Month. Also, it's Chinese New Year's. That's what it is. That's what we're celebrating this whole month, Chinese New Year. So happy New Year's to all of my people from China. I know they're watching out there right now. Happy New Year to you and many, many more. They celebrate theirs late. We celebrate ours in January, and now it's February, so that's what we're celebrating right now. And speaking of all of that, Barbara Sue, a Taiwanese actor who starred in a popular TV program, Meet a Garden, that once swept Asia, died after consulting or contracting pneumonia triggered by the flu. Sue caught the flu when she visited Japan with her family during the Lunar New Year. She was 48 years old. I think it's that time, ladies and gentlemen, now. As promised, we're going over to Charlotte, North Carolina, and we're going to be talking to Brian Camp because he has the latest developments in today's world of sports. And again, if you have any questions, sports related, he's got them for you. Right, Brian?
Oh, absolutely. 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 Bring it here. Bring it here. Bring it here.
How you doing?
I'm trying to fix my camera. Right.
Okay.
Okay. No, I guess I can't. I mean, just trying to fix it. Okay. Well, this is good. Yes.
Great. Looks great. That looks
super weekend coming up. Super duper weekend.
Yep.
And can't wait. But we'll talk about that in a moment. First, say Happy Black History Month to all of who contribute and was part of this here beautiful culture that we have endured, that we embrace. I embrace because I am African American myself, and
I never noticed.
You never noticed, yeah. I could have darkened my skin. I could have had a nice tan, but yes. It is Black History Month, and Happy New Year's to our Chinese brothers and sisters as well too, as you just said. And it's a wonderful time. It's 61 degrees out here in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina, and it's going to get warmer too. We're supposed to be hitting in the mid-70s tomorrow, mid-70s. But you know, it's going to get cold next week too. To my understanding, we don't know how cold. To some places it may be cold, but you know, depending on where you live at, you may live in the Antarctic. You know, I don't know. You know, or the North Pole. So, but down here in North Carolina, it gets cold early in the morning, and then after that, whew, it warms up. So it's a chill. It's a chill overnight into the morning, and then around 11 o'clock, it warms up. This is what the South will bring you. Good evening, Mary. Hope all is well with you and everybody else who's out there listening around the world. I say good evening and good morning to wherever you may be, globally, nationally, and locally. And we're just here, glad to be here. I got a lot of sports to talk about since we missed last week. So we're going to talk about the Super Bowl. That's the only way we could start off. Super Sunday is approaching, and we're going to have a history may be made as the Kansas City Chiefs are trying to do something that no other football team has done in the Super Bowl era, is the three-peat. As I said, the Super Bowl era. Now, the Green Bay Packers back in the mid-'60s did win 3 in a row, but that was in the Super Bowl. They won a championship game before the merger, and then after then when the merger came, Super Bowl 1 and 2, they beat Kansas City and they beat the Raiders, and that's how they got their three-peat. But the Chiefs are looking to repeat this here history in the Super Bowl era. This is the second time in 3 years they are facing the Philadelphia Eagles. This game will be February 9th, 2025. At 6:30 kickoff time on Fox. Also, POTUS, I don't want to say the whole thing, will attend the Super Bowl. He'll attend Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. The U.S. Secret Service, which is responsible for protecting the president. Huh?
I think the word you're looking for is POTUS.
Whatever you want to call it. He's going to be there. Again, the Secret Service is going to be, their responsibility is to protect him and the grounds for days preparing for the visit. So they did this in a week in advance to make sure that everything is okay. As you know, this is just normal. This is a normal thing whenever a sitting president, whether it's a basketball game or a baseball game or a football game, ahead of time they got to seek out the area to make sure that everything is secure. Sad news. 2 weeks ago, in an 18-year-old Temple University student has died after falling from a mighty pole while celebrating the Philadelphia Eagles NFC Championship game win. Tyler Sabathia was among fans celebrating on the streets of Philadelphia. Now, the video has shows that Sabathia, holding onto a street pole, then slipping and falling flat on his back, hitting his head on the concrete sidewalk. I don't want to sound too graphic, but this is what it was described. He was hospitalized for a brain injury and then pronounced dead 2 days later. Our prayers and thoughts go to the family of the victim. Sometimes when you celebrate, whether it's inside of stadium or arena, or it could be outside, it could be mighty dangerous. Major League Baseball California Governor Galvin Newsom was tabbed an NBA legend Magic Irvin Johnson, Dodgers chairman Mark Walter, and the 2028 Olympics organizer Casey Wasserman to lead a new effort to support wildfire recovery and rebuilding efforts in Los Angeles. As you know, the wildfires in Southern California that destroyed many homes and acres, and we lost some people. We lost quite a few people. When you lose one, that's one too many. So they trying to put something together for support, recovery, and rebuilding efforts of these here homes. And we hope that they could really get this thing going. Now, speaking of Major League Baseball fires umpire Pat Hobart for share betting accounts. Hobart and a friend shared legal sporting betting accounts on baseball and for intentionally deleting messages key to the investigation into his conduct. They was doing some shady stuff while they're investigating. Major League Baseball said Hobart denied betting on baseball directly or indirectly, but Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred says there was no evidence that Hobart directly bet on games that would determine the outcome of games. So, that's the difference right there. We just don't know. We just don't know the outcome of these here, betting in sports is now legal now, believe it or not. But as an umpire, we don't know if he has an effect, because in calling balls and strikes and outs and calling people safe, that could determine part of the game. So we don't know. The NBA Hall of Famer Reggie Miller will join NBC Sports as its top color commentator when the NBA returns to the network later this year. Miller reportedly will call the games alongside play-by-play broadcaster Mike Tirico and Noah Eagle. Starting with the 2025-26 season, Miller has worked as an NBA analyst for TNT since 2005. Last August, the NBA announced a new 11-year, $77 billion media deal with NBC and Amazon Prime Video that goes into effect next season. Sporting news, back to POTUS, signed an executive order that bans transgender athletes from participating in girls and women's sports. Now, listen to this. Listen to me very carefully. I know how we feel about this man, but I think what he's doing right now, my opinion, he's doing the right thing. I know there's going to be some feedback, but he's doing the right thing. Transgender athletes from participating in sports and women's sports, girls and women. Now, the order titled Keeping Men Out of Women's Sports, the interpretation of sex was a gender someone was assigned at birth. So if you was born at birth as a girl, as a female, that's what you are. That's what you are. Same thing for a male. If you born as a male, I don't want to get too graphic, with a penis, you are a male. Simple as that. President signed it. Yes, he did. He signed it. You may not like it, but that's the way it is. I'm from the old school. I'm sorry. What you do with your sexual desires or whatever, it's your business. But the way I was brought up, you was born a male, you're a male. You want to change your sex, that's good, but you're still a male. All right, I'll stop. I don't want to get too heated. This day in sports, January 30th, 1958, Major League Commissioner Ford Frick announced that players and coaches, rather than fans, will vote on selections for the All-Star game. Votes returns to the fans in 1970. 1996, Irvin Magic Johnson comes out of a 5-year retirement. 2002, Karl Malone becomes the second player in NBA history to score 34,000 points. This day, February 6, 1958, Ted Williams, the highest paid player, as he resigns with the Boston Red Sox for $135,000. 1970, the NBA expands to 18 teams with Buffalo, Cleveland, and Houston and Portland joining the board. Birthdays. Let's do birthdays. January 30th. It's 2 weeks ago. Davey Johnson, Major League Baseball second baseman manager, was born. Used to play for the Baltimore Orioles and managed New York Mets. Was born in Orlando, Florida. 1973, Jalen Lowe's, NBA guard for the Indiana Pacers, was born in Detroit, Michigan. This day, February 6, 1958, Let me backtrack. I lost my thought there. No, that's it. I finished. I'm sorry. That's it. I finished. Yes, those are all the birthdays. Oh, yes, I did find it. Happy birthday to the Bambino, to the late, great Babe Ruth, was born on this day in the year 1895. Hall of Famer pitcher, 7-time World Series champion, was born in Baltimore, Maryland. I got one more thing. I got a Black History moment. Since we are celebrating Black history, on this day, this very day, February 6th, on this day, 1967, Muhammad Ali beat Ernie Terrell by an unanimous decision, winning the WBA heavyweight boxing title. Ali gives him back the title that he never lost. The WBA stripped him of his belt in June of 1964 for his association with the Nation of Islam. Believe that? And for that note, one of my favorite heroes, that is sports.
And he's the greatest. Always was and always will be.
Right.
And that word GOAT is being kicked around so many times. Everybody's not a GOAT. You know, you hear everybody say, I'm the GOAT. I'm the GOAT. You know, the GOAT of what? No? The GOAT of, everybody says they're the GOAT. I'm the GOAT of what? You know, Muhammad Ali was the GOAT.
Right.
You know, and that's it, the greatest of all time. The greatest of all time. What that means, he was the greatest of all time, all throughout sports. Because everybody, he sold sports. He sold all the sports, not just boxing. He sold sports.
Right.
You know, and so he's always going to be the GOAT, the only GOAT, as far as I'm concerned.
That's right.
The rest of us, we could play GOATs, but no, not really. And one thing about this show, Brian, we always speak our mind.
No holding back.
Holding back.
We're holding back.
We do put a disclaimer on to protect ourselves, but we have opinions here, and we express it. We're not afraid. We're not bending no knees, kissing no rings, or anything like that.
Right.
So that's what this show is all about. And if you have an opinion, you guys are watching too, you'd like to express, you want to rebuttal or whatever. Yeah, listen, this show is open for everyone.
Right.
But what we put out there, we don't do anything to hurt anyone.
Mm-hmm.
We just express things, and it's all right to disagree. It's healthy to disagree.
It's fine. That's what's great about this country that we live in.
Yeah.
We have a freedom of speech. May not like it, but we have the freedom to do that. You can't do that in every country in the world.
That's right. Now that I'm not going to. A lot of people say, "Oh, that may change." That's not going to change. It's not going to change. It's not going to change.
Oh, it's not.
You're going to do cut people's tongue out. They say something, or because you disagree with someone, you're gonna fire them from their jobs.
Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense at all. But yeah, and we're gonna keep expressing our opinions here.
Right.
Speaking of that, Super Bowl. You notice some of the football stadiums at the what is it, over there near the goal post? Some of them they read on the ground, it says "Stop Racism."
I've seen that, but yeah, go ahead.
I was told, I don't know how true it is because I don't believe everything I hear or everything I read, but I heard it through the grapevine, is that in New Orleans, where they said they had the sign there that said "Stop the Racism," but because FOTUS is coming in, they're going to take it down. Did you hear anything like that?
I didn't hear anything about that. I do know that New Orleans is, when we had that terror attack in New Orleans, things is getting a little salty, little tight around New Orleans. They want to make sure that there's nothing that's going to create havoc. Now, the Super Bowl is going to draw a lot of attention because it's the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Street is right down there. Now, if many of you have ever been down to New Orleans, you know that Bourbon Street is definitely an attraction to bring people. And, it's the city of jazz and blues and whatever you want to call it, from Mardi Gras to the Essence Festival. New Orleans is a city that could be known as being wicked with voodoo. It could be violent. I've been there many times, and down Bourbon Street, it could be really dangerous. There's drug activity, there's prostitution activity as you go further all the way down. Security is going to double and triple since the terrorist attack in New Orleans that happened, like I say, I guess it happened over a month ago. So they want to just make things comfortable and right. Now, does the president have a right to go to a Super Bowl? Sure, absolutely. Would he have any kind of effect? Sure, because he's the president. So nothing surprises me where things are going to be turned and switched around because he's coming in. He's coming in.
I totally disagree with it, though. You know why?
Why is he going to the Super Bowl?
No. I don't care that he goes to the Super Bowl. I would, if they indeed have a sign back there that says "Stop the Racism," which is not even, you can't even look at that as controversial.
Well, again, they're doing this here because they want to avoid any kind of protests while he's there.
Who says there won't be any protests, whether they take the sign down or not?
But protesting is legal as long as you do it peacefully.
That's true. Okay. So that being said, why take down the sign? It's just a sign.
I agree with that. I agree
that it should stay up there. What are people afraid of? I mean, they're not going to take the sign down if you walk into the stadium,
Oh no.
or if I walk into the stadium. But listen, like you said, he has the right to enjoy himself at the Super Bowl, and I hope he does. I hope the Super Bowl, I'm going to pay attention to the Super Bowl and not the events that take place. I just want to make sure it's a clean.
I mean, the camera's going to be on him because he's the president. In fact, don't be surprised if the camera's more on Taylor Swift than the president of the United States.
I hope so.
And there are bettors, I bet you there's bettors out there who would probably bet that too. Because now football and sports general is now a sporting thing.
Yeah.
They'll bet on anything. They'll bet how many times Taylor Swift is going to cheer or jump up and down. The odds. There's money odds and everything.
Yeah. I think Taylor Swift, maybe she doesn't know it, but she's selling the Kansas City Chiefs. She's selling them.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, a lot of people. I mean, I watched the game, but I love seeing Taylor Swift out there supporting her guy.
Let me tell you something about Taylor Swift. I never said I did not like her, but I even have, as I see her more and more, I have so much love and respect for her. I was watching the Grammys last Sunday, and I tell you, she cheers for, even when she in defeat, she cheers for the person that defeated her.
Yeah.
She's a very humble woman,
mm-hmm.
And you don't find that in Hollywood. So much jealousy in Hollywood. But you see her, and the winner goes to such and such, and she didn't win, and she'll get up there and clap and hug the winner.
Mm-hmm.
You saw her tipping her glass to Jay-Z after his wife won a country music award single or best album or something.
Yeah.
She was so happy for him.
Yeah. And so now that we got on the subject of that, the Grammys, and Taylor Swift, what these people, if you're watching right now, lay off of Beyonce, let her sing her country music because she knows the music. She's a Texan. A lot of people are hating on her because she's singing country music. And I saw a post on Facebook saying that it's a slap in the face that she got an award for country music, and that's a slap in the face for people of people who how did they say it? Paraphrasing a bit, slap in the face to real country musicians.
Did they say that with Aaron Neville?
No.
Country or Charlie Pride?
Listen, you know what? I believe that any kind of music a person is able to do and they can do it good, do it. No one bitched about a lot of people singing R&B. Nobody said no. There's a lot of great black R&B singers, a lot of great white R&B singers. Nobody ever said it. R&B doesn't belong to anyone. You want to sing it? If you enjoy it, sing it. If you want to sing gospel, you sing it. It doesn't belong to anyone. It's a free music. Country is a free music. Charlie Pride was a black country. I'm pretty sure he got nailed. He got nailed when he was alive.
Yeah. Aaron Neville.
Aaron Neville is another one.
Yeah.
But people just have so much hate in their heart. They just don't know. They just don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it. So do we expect to see tomorrow?
As of now, yes, you will definitely be able to see me tomorrow. The schedule might change, but it looked like the way it is, I'm going to keep it the way it is. You'll see me tomorrow at 10 o'clock, God's willing, of course, and we could talk some more about some sports and see you then. Hope that everything be well.
Okay, we'll see you then. Have a good
right. Yeah.
That's Brian Camp, ladies and gentlemen, with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. He's with us each week at this time. And of course, as he said, he's going to more likely be here tomorrow on the coffee hour. That's our other show, which we'll be talking to you about just before we leave the air on that show, which is tomorrow morning. I'll tell you more about that later. But thank you, Brian, for being along with us. And, I just get tired of people, if you don't like her, just don't listen to her. If you don't like Taylor Swift, don't listen to her. Every time I see a football game, Taylor Swift, she's out there cheering, and people out there bitching about it. You know, why is she there? Why is she doing that? Why is she there? Why is she hugging this? Why is she? Because she has the right. She has the right. She has the right to be there. She has the right to take a break from whatever she does. And we know that she does a lot. She's a hard worker in her show business. She does that. Beyonce is a hard worker. Beyonce wears her cowboy hat. And you know something? I support Beyonce and I support Taylor Swift. And the rest of you guys who hate, why don't you just go someplace? You know, go someplace. You know, nobody cares. Nobody really cares. Anyway, if you're just joining us, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live. My name is Frank Allan. I'm going to be with you for the balance of the hour. And Mary, thank you so much for being along. Thank you for your call, Mary, and your inquirement about my eye surgery. Ladies and gentlemen, eye surgery is nothing you want to do, but it's a simple procedure. If you ever have to do it, you don't even feel it, you know. But it's if it ever has to be done, you do it and you come out good. So with me, I have that. I had that already. After I finish with all the drops, you know, I still have the eye drops they give you. And after I complete that, all of that, then we're going to schedule for the other eye to be done. And of course, you're never looking forward to anything that has to do with the eye or anything like that. You know, you want to make sure that your eyes are in good shape, you know, but they had to be done. And this is my second surgery, you know, because the last time I had a surgery was with cataracts. I had cataracts removed. You know, you don't want to walk around with cataracts, you know. I had those removed, and after that, I was seeing clear as a bell. And even now, I still have my 20/20 vision. They checked me, they checked my eyesight. I read the charts perfectly. I didn't miss a letter, even to the tiny letter. You know, it was great. So I'm happy about that. And so I'm going to enjoy my 20/20 vision while I have it. And again, Mary, and the rest of you guys who inquired about it, I'm doing fine, and I'm just loving it. I'm just loving it. Just loving it. Okay, you know, I think it's about that time, don't you think? It's about that time, ladies and gentlemen, to go back in time, and we go back in time on this day in history. So let's go back in time on this day in history and see what we got going on this day in history. Okay, so where are we? If I can find the script, if I can find it, it's around somewhere. Yeah, let me see if I can find it. Here it is somewhere. And there it is, right there. On this day in history, here we are on this day in history. 1921, Charlie Chaplin released his first full-length feature, The Kid, a silent film starring Charlie Chaplin and a 6-year-old Jackie Coogan. Remember, Jackie Coogan played on the Addams Family TV version. On this day in history, 1929, Rudy Valley records his single, Deep Night. On this day in history, in 1935, the Monopoly board game goes on sale for the first time. On this day in history, in 1943, Frank Sinatra debuts on radio's Your Hit Parade. On this day in history, 1948, KNXT, which is now KCBS TV, Channel 2 in Los Angeles, starts their broadcast. On this day in history, 1959, Edward R. Murrow interviews Cuban revolution leader Fidel Castro on his person-to-person program. And back in 1965, the Righteous Brothers, You've Lost That Lovin' Feeling, which made the hits number one on the charts. In 1967, Muhammad Ali, well, Brian already said that, but since I'm starting at Muhammad Ali, Ernie Terrell's 15 round to retain his world heavyweight boxing crown at the Houston Astrodome. And he also regained Terrell's WBA belt as well. Back in 1973, jazz drummer Buddy Rich plays influential performance at the Top of the Plaza in Richmond, New York. Later, it was televised on PBS. And back in 1974, U.S. House of Representatives begins determining grounds for impeachment of President Nixon. Back in 1976, George Harrison released singles. He released a singles, This Guitar Can't Keep From Crying. Back in 1981, crime film Fort Apache starring Paul Newman, Fort Apache the Bronx starring Paul Newman, amid protest in U.S. In 1981, TV sitcom The Brady Brides. That's a sequel to The Brady Bunch. It debuts on NBC TV and it runs for 10 episodes. Back in 1987, no smoking rules take effect in U.S. federal buildings. In 1996, Columbia Records released Tennessee Moore. That's the 33rd studio album by Neil Diamond, and it was featured original collaborations with various country musicians and songwriters. In 1998, Washington National Airport is renamed Ronald Reagan National Airport. In 2003, rapper 50 Cent releases his album, Get Rich or Die Trying, but in 2003, that same year, made the Billboard Album of the Year. In 2012, singer Gordon Lightfoot is presented with the Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee by the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario. In 2014, Jay Leno hosts The Tonight Show for the final time on NBC. U.S. President Ronald Reagan was born on this day in 1911 in Tampico, Illinois, and he died June 5th, 2004, at the age of 93 years old, complications of Alzheimer's disease. Zsa Zsa Gabor, actress Zsa Zsa Gabor, was born on this day in 1917 in Budapest, Australia, Hungary, and she died December 18th in 2016 at the age of 99 years old. In 1922, on this day in history, actor Patrick McNee, who played on The Avengers and Magnum P.I., was born in London, England, and he died in 2015. In 1933, actor Rip Torn was born in Temple, Texas, and he died 2019. Journalist Tom Brokaw was born on this day in 1940 in Webster, South Dakota. He's 85 years old today. In 1943, pop singer Fabian, remember Turn Me Loose, I Said, and Like a Tiger, was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He's 82. Bob Marley was born on this day in 1945, and he was born in 9 Mile, St. Anne, Jamaica. He died May 11th, 1981, at the age of 36 years old from brain and lung cancer. Natalie Cole was born on this day in 1950 in Los Angeles, California. She died December 31st in 2015. She was 65 years old. She died from congestive heart failure. Back in 1957, on this day in history, actress Kathy Najimy, she's the one that played one of the sisters on Sister Act with Whoopi Goldberg. She was born in San Diego, California. She's 68 years old today. In 1957, comedian and actor Robert Townsend was born in Chicago, Illinois. He's 68. In 1958, actor Barry Miller, who played in the movie Fame, Peggy Sue Got Married, and Saturday Night Fever, was born in Los Angeles, California, and he's 67 years old today. Axl Rose of Guns N' Roses was born on this day in 1962 in Lafayette, Indiana. He's 63 today. Singer Rick Astley was born on this day in 1966, and he was born in Newton Lewillows, Lancashire, England, in the UK, and he's 59 years old today. In 1949, diplomat Henry Kissinger weds Anne Fleischer in Washington Heights in New York City. In 1995, Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys weds former model and car saleswoman Melinda Ledbetter in Los Angeles County, California, until her death in 2024. In 2007, married with children, actor David Faustino, who played Bundy. He played Bud Bundy, right? He got divorced to actress Andrea Ellman after 3 years of marriage. In 1960, R&B singer Jesse Belvin dies of a car accident after a concert in Little Rock, Arkansas, at the age of 27 years old. In 1976, jazz pianist and composer Vince Guaraldi. He was known for playing that song "Cast Your Fate to the Wind." Also, he was the musician for the Peanut Gang on their TV specials. Charlie Brown. Well, anyway, he died of a heart attack at the age of 47 years old. In 1981, composer, arranger, and orchestra leader Hugo Montenegro dies of emphysema at 55. Composer Jimmy Van Heusen dies on this day in 1990 at 77 years old, complications following a stroke. He was born January 26, 1913 in Syracuse, New York. Danny Thomas was born or died on this day in 1991 at the age of 79 years old. He was born January 6, 1912, and he was born in Deerfield, Michigan. Comic book artist and writer Jack Kirby, who was responsible for creating the X-Men, Spider-Man, Hulk, and Captain America, died on this day in 1994 at the age of 76 years old from heart failure. He was born August 28, 1917 in New York City. In 1994, actor Joseph Cotton dies of pneumonia at 88. In 1995, jazz drummer Art Taylor dies at the age of 65. In 1996, actor Guy Madison, who played Wild Bill Hickok in the 50s, he dies of emphysema at the age of 74 years old. And in 2007, singer Frankie Lane dies of heart failure at the age of 93 years old. In 2009, actor James Whitmore dies of lung cancer at 84. And 2009, actor Phil Carey, he played Acer on One Life to Live. He died at the age of 83 years old. So that's what's happening there in entertainment. Now, for those of you who want to get in touch with me, you can do that. And I have two sources you can do that. That's my email address and my telephone number. You can do that. And all you have to do is be proactive and jump on it. My email address is Frank Allan Prod. Allan is spelled Allan, Prod is Prod. That's Frank Allan Prod at AOL.com. That's Frank Allan Prod at AOL.com. Telephone number is 641-715-3900, extension 467134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467134. When you contact us, you can contact us for any reason. You may want to talk about the show or give some kind of remark about the show, critique it, which is good. Or if you have any ideas about the show, anything at all, even if you just want to say hi, all you have to do is just be proactive again and get in touch with us and keep all of the information in your electronic devices. The address, once again, the email is frankallanprod at AOL.com. That's frankallanprod at AOL.com. Telephone number is 641-715-3900, extension 467134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467134. Now, being that I wasn't here last week, I wanted to do this last week because I had this information at the time, but since we weren't able to do it, I'm going to do it now, even though it's probably old news to a lot of you, and then maybe it's news to a lot of you that didn't know about it. But remember when the felon, he signed to release all of the, as he would call them, hostages, but those are the felons and all of the criminals who actually went into the Capitol building and created all the havoc, all right, the insurrection. Well, you know, he pardoned 1,500 of them, all right? Now, here's some news that maybe you didn't know about. One of them, Daniel Ball, I'm saying, he was 39 years old, was taken into custody that day. As a matter of fact, he was taken into custody. He's back in jail now. He was released, but he's back in jail now. And he was taken into custody last Wednesday, 2 Wednesday mornings ago, according to the arrest warrant on the separate indictment, and that the return by the federal prosecutors in Florida last summer. And he was charged with the unlawfulness of proceeding with guns. He was holding guns. right? And since he was a felon, you're not allowed to have guns. So he was arrested. Now he's back in jail. Remember, he was released. He was one of the guys that were out there just creating havoc in the insurrection. All right, so they have him in jail. Here's another one. Andrew Tate, 36 years old, a Houston man who was pardoned also by the felon himself after being convicted of assaulting police officers during the January 19th insurrection at the Capitol, was released from federal prison you remember that time, but now he's wanted again. I don't know if they found him or not, but he was wanted for this reason. He was wanted by Harris County. And the charge this time is for soliciting minors. Now, that was 2 weeks ago when I got this news. I don't know if they caught him yet, but they're looking for him. If they caught him, he's in jail as well, if they got him. All right. And the third one, an Indiana man was falsely shot, was fatally shot. He was fatally shot. And of course, he was shot by a deputy doing a traffic stop. But the short story of it all, he was shot because he tried to resist arrest. His name is Matthew Huddle, and he was shot and killed. And he was 42 years old. He was shot and killed. Maybe he was trying something with the police, but he was one of the ones that were released also. So these people think they can get away with it. I guess they thought because they were pardoned that they can do anything, like own guns if you're a felon, or get online and solicit to minors. You know, you're untouchable, you're unstoppable, you know. So if that's the news that I wanted to tell you about. Now I have other things that I wanted to tell you about, but I'm going to save it for tomorrow. And it's about some of the things that I know that some of the companies, the big companies I know who have retreated from DEI. We're going to talk about that tomorrow on Talkback Live, because I'm going to skip that. You know, it's something that I wanted to talk about, but come tomorrow morning. I'm sorry, not Talkback Live, on the coffee. I'll come back and listen to that. But in the meantime, I have these movies for you, and I want to go through them right quick. Right. First of all, we're going to go back to 1953. This is called Calamity James, Doris Day, Howard Keel, and Allison McLeary. And that's on Turner Classic Movies. That's Friday at 6:15 p.m. Eastern. Then you have The Three Faces of Eve from 1957, Joanne Woodward, David Wayne, and Lee J. Cobb. Great movies, black and white, Turner Classic Movies. That's Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Imitation of Life. Now, this is the remake from 1959. This is not the original. The original was 1933, but this is the one that I like, 1959, with Lana Turner and John Gavin, along with Sandra Dee. Turner Classic Movies. You can check that out Sunday at 12 midnight. That's 12 a.m. Eastern. And you have Mildred Pierce from 1945, Joan Crawford, Jack Carson, and Zachary Scott as well. Turner Classic Movies at Sunday at 2:30 a.m. Eastern. And here's another one, My Fair Ladies, if you like, musical from 1964, starring Audrey Hepburn, Rex Harrison, and Stanley Holloway. And that's on Turner Classic Movies at Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Now, here's something that I want you guys, if you have Prime, here's a suggestion that I want you to watch. If you have Prime Video, I want you to check out this movie called Unstoppable, a great movie. I loved it, starring Jarrell Jerome, who played Anthony Robles. And this is a true story. It's about a wrestler who wrestled with one leg. He was born with one leg. And it starred, Don Cheadle is in it along with Jennifer Lopez. It's a great movie. Take my word for it. You could watch it tonight if you want. It's on Prime Video, and it's called Unstoppable. Check it out, okay? And so you can check out all of these movies. I hope you get a chance to check them out. They're great movies, you know. I try to give you all the movies. I'm sorry I didn't have time to give you the information that I wanted to, but it's important that you know about it. Tomorrow on the coffee hour, I'm going to bring it to you about all of these companies that have retreated from DEI. It's very important that you know about it. And there's a lot more too. So that's going to do it for me, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to take off. I'll be back tomorrow morning at of course, 10 a.m. for the coffee hour. And Brian Camp will be with me with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. He'll be along with us, and we look forward to seeing you too as well. And then in the meantime, you can check us back out here next Thursday. Also, next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, we'll return with more Talk Back Live. Brian Camp will be here with sports as well, and we look forward to seeing you then. So in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, have a great morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant good night. We'll see you soon. Take care.
You've been watching Talk Back Live with your host Frank Allan. The producer is Al Dale. Technical assistant Dave Taylor. Research by Sandy Pierce. And I'm your announcer Donna Stenke. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Talk Back Live.